My name is Dwayne Kimball, owner and founder of KMD89 VA Claims Consulting, Leave No Vet Behind, and also I'm a United States Army veteran. Today I'm bringing you another educational video as it pertains to the VA disability compensation claims process. Today I'm going to be discussing some reasons that veterans have shared with me why raters, RVSRs, DROs / decision review officers are giving them as to why they are refusing to utilize or rate their claim with their actionable and sufficient DBQ and/or Nexus statement. But before we get into today's video, make sure you like, subscribe, hit that notification button, and don't forget to share this video with your fellow veterans. And also, you can follow me on LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. So today's video, why isn't it that raters and DROs, decision review officers, are refusing to use some veterans' DBQs and/or Nexus statements? Now, it's not in all cases, but these are some of the things, some of the feedback that I've been getting in my veterans roundtables, my bi-weekly Q&A sessions, and by talking to veterans on the phone. And they're asking me, hey, I did it this way, they can use it, but they're just not using it, okay? So I'm going to share with you some of those reasons. And then at the end of this video, I am going to explain what I did, okay? And then I'm going to give you one question that the veteran is not asking when they're told these particular reasons, okay? So stick around to the end. So number one, the examiner failed to state they reviewed the VA claims folder. Now, in my monthly veterans roundtables, my bi-weekly Q&As, or if you attend any of my trainings, you know I challenge every veteran to get a copy of their claims folder. I don't have it readily available. I have it in another room, but I've showed in the past, I've showed my VA claims folder, okay? Now, not in all cases I don't think the examiner will have to review the entire claims folder. It's going to depend on what you're claiming. Is it an increase? Is it secondary? Is it a direct service connection? But I would say the majority of information in that VA claims folder needs to be reviewed, especially if they're completing a DBQ and a Nexus statements, okay? So a lot of veterans that are having DBQs done, Nexus statements, might not be a bad idea for that examiner to put in there that they completed this DBQ and Nexus statement after reviewing your VA claims folder, because there's a lot of stuff in VA claims folder. DD-214, your rating decisions, progress notes from the VA healthcare system. You can get that from My Healthy Vet, okay? You may have some information that's already in your claims folder, things that you sent the VA, things that the VA sent you. If you compile all that, you have your VA claims folder, okay? So number two, if a DBQ, if it's a mental DBQ is completed, you have some adjudicators saying, hey, it wasn't completed per the DSM-5. So what did I do? I reached out to the mental health professional. I said, hey, look at this, that this mental health professional was familiar or is familiar with DBQs. And I asked a question on the PTSD review DBQ and the additional mental health DBQ other than PTSD. When you complete this, is it per the DSM-5? He says yes, because the diagnosis section, you have to get the diagnosis from the DSM-5. And there are some other questions. So I don't know why some adjudicators are saying that the doctor didn't state it was done per the DSM-5, because there's some third-party contractors that don't put that information in there, okay? So number three, some of the not veterans, but some of the adjudicators are saying, oh, your doctor was out of state. Where does it state that your doctor has to be within a certain radius of your home? Okay, a lot of vets travel. A lot of vets live out of the country. A lot of vets, I'm here in Florida, we call them snowbirds. They'll be up in Minnesota or Maine during the summer, then they'll come down to Florida during the summer. So there's nothing stating that your doctor has to be in state. And keep in mind, I talked to a veteran one time. He said, hey, I have to go to a third-party exam. And I said, okay, not a problem. It was 2 hours away. He lived in a tri-state area, so 3 states were close, 3 or 4 states were close to each other. He had to go through one state and go to another one. And I'm like, you got to be kidding me. And there were 2 VA medical centers within 60 miles of his house, and he had to drive over 200 miles. He had to go out of state. So if their third-party contractor can be out of state, why can't yours? Who's really asking that question? Okay. Number 4, the exam was completed by video. Now, as we all know, the old DBQs, when they were made public, the VA was saying we would not accept any private DBQs that were done by telemental or telehealth. But when they took them off the website and then they made them back for public use in 2021, it changed. They said that they would accept DBQs from private physicians or mental health providers that were done by telehealth or telemental, but they had to be actionable and sufficient. But some adjudicators are saying, no, it cannot be done. They're still thinking of the old way, and it's not that way anymore. But guess what? Veterans are not questioning, okay? Then they're saying the veteran paid for the DBQ. Now, I paid for mine. I had 2 three private physicians to complete DBQ. Actually, more than that, but 3 that I'm thinking of, okay? Now, I had to go in. I used my insurance card. I paid a copay. I paid for it, basically, because what I did was I contacted, let's say, give you one example. I contacted my chiropractor, and I said, hey, I'm claiming this, secondary to that. This is what I need, a DBQ and Nexus statement. And he's like, okay. And I paid for the my copay for the initial visit. Then I had to go back to review the DBQ with him and to confirm the range of motion testing. So I had another copay. All right. But also what I want veterans to think about is this. If you go through that third-party contractor, they're getting paid too because the VA is paying them. And there's nothing in the regulation that states that you can't pay. Now, there's some other stipulations as it pertains to DBQs and or Nexus statement, and you have to make sure you, as a veteran, do it the right way and they're completed the right way, okay? Now, the last one. Some adjudicators are saying, oh, I don't feel comfortable using this, but they're not giving examples. And when the veteran gets the rating decision, none of that is in there. I don't feel comfortable. So that adjudicator is violating 38 CFR 4.23, attitude of the rating officer. Okay? I don't feel comfortable. But if it's actionable and sufficient, why don't you feel comfortable? Okay? But those are some of the reasons. All right? Now, what did I do? I explained it a little bit earlier. I paid because I had to have a copay. My doctor is not going to see me for free. That third-party contractor is not going to see me for free, even though it's not coming out of my pocket. The VA is paying for it, for them to conduct that exam. So somebody's paying for it, okay? I paid for it because I had a copay. It's my private doctor. They don't work for free. Okay, these doctors, they do not work for free. Some take insurance, some don't. But I have not seen any regulation that states that the doctor has to be in state. Okay. I haven't seen a regulation that states that a veteran cannot pay for a DBQ. Now, again, there's other stipulations that need to be met. The VA claims folder need to be reviewed. Some information or something, okay, it has to be a subjective and objective evidence, okay? Both. Not just you going in and telling your story and they're jotting it down and that's it and they haven't reviewed anything, okay? But also keep in mind, one of the questions that veterans are not asking when they're being told, when they are being told this, They're not asking for the regulation. So if somebody says, hey, I don't feel comfortable. Well, what does the regulation state? That you can refuse utilizing my DBQ and or Nexus statement to adjudicate my claim if you don't feel comfortable. I just gave it to you. Okay, 38 CFR 4.23, attitude of the rating officer. All right, they're not supposed to let their personal feelings come into play basically when they're adjudicating the claim. And another one is the doctor was out of state. It can't be done by video. Every time I talk to a veteran, they'll say, oh, somebody at the VA told me this. And so my follow-up question to them is, did you ask for a regulation? No. And I'm like, why not? Are you just believing everything that that individual at the VA tells you? Question them. There's nothing wrong with questioning them. Some of them, they're not always right, okay? Even when I rated claims, I wasn't always right. That's why they have checks and balances. Call them out. Say, hey, well, you said that my doctor has to be in state. By the way, if you don't mind, for full transparency, I would like that regulation if you could, so I can, review it. Guess what? They can't give it to you because there's not one. All right? But that's the main thing that veterans are not doing. They're not questioning. Okay, they're not asking that question. Give me the regulation that states that. They should, if they're telling you that, they should have it readily available. Okay? So, just a quick recap. Some of the reasons why some adjudicators are not utilizing an actionable and sufficient DBQ. Now, I'm not talking about the DBQs that are not completed correctly, that are not signed, that are missing a lot of information. What I'm talking about, DBQs that are actionable and sufficient for rating purposes, meaning that adjudicator could use that rating decision, but these are the reasons why, some of the reasons, pretty sure there are more, these are some of the reasons they're not, okay? The examiner failed to note they reviewed the VA claims folder. It was done by video. It was not done per the DSM-5. It was done out of state. Personally, I don't feel comfortable. Things like that, okay? So when you hear that from someone at the VA, it has to be a regulation. Ask them for it and see if they will provide it to you, okay? So with that being said, please like, subscribe, hit that notification button, and I'll see you in my next educational video. Thank you.